evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Tonight, Jules Helping Hand says the mid-November deadline set by Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich to clear out the camp is, quote, absolutely unrealistic. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk joining us live in the newsroom tonight. And Kyle, what is their reasoning?
Well, Julie Garcia told me the head count of the camp was 449 this Saturday. She says there's simply not enough shelter beds available, specifically low barrier ones. The city, on the other hand, told us that's not the case and that everyone at the camp has an opportunity to live in a safer, more humane environment at the Trent shelter. At one point during the last several months, Jules Helping Hand says there were upwards of 689 people living in this single city block. Over the last 4 weeks, 349 campers have left and moved into housing and shelters. The camp had 449 residents as of this Saturday.
There will be no new guests, only a decrease in number of people there from here on out.
Julie Garcia of Jules Helping Hand says it'll take time, more time than the sheriff is giving them to clear everyone out.
We don't have enough space yet created for these folks to go. There is not enough beds in our shelter system.
That's what she said at tonight's East Central Neighborhood Council meeting, where members passed the resolution calling for the camp to empty out no later than Thanksgiving.
I would be extremely concerned if there was this hard deadline and there are not options and solutions in place.
Garcia warned that homeless people don't just disappear. If law enforcement removes them during the second week in November, people will start to camp in parks and neighborhoods. But developer Larry Stone, who owns and leases the Trent shelter to the city, says there are enough beds available and ready throughout the entire shelter system.
The time has come. The city has notified the state that they have plenty of spots at the Trent facility and several other facilities. Union Gospel Mission has notified that they have 54 spots available. When I add those up, it far exceeds the population at Camp Hope.
In a statement to KREM 2, city spokesperson Brian Coddington said in part, individuals' belongings can be stored on site and they can sleep in a bed and eat regular meals in a safer, healthier, more humane environment while maintaining the same ability to connect to permanent housing. That opportunity is available to everyone at Camp Hope. And as we've reported, Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich has already agreed to extend the camp's deadline at the request of service providers to sometime during the second week of November. The sheriff says people who refuse to leave will be arrested. Spokane Police Chief Craig Meidel has also warned that the property could be declared a nuisance. Mark?
Kyle, thank you very much. Spokane County Ozzie Knezovich is asking for more information about the funding of the homeless camp near I-90. This as he and the police chief push forward with their plans to clear that camp out in the coming weeks. Knezovich sent a letter to the state's auditor's office asking about the funding and background of the homeless camp, Jules Helping Hands, and the Guardians Foundation. The audit would focus on financing and communication. The sheriff's office is looking specifically for communications from the city of Spokane, WSDOT, the Department of Commerce, and the Department of Licensing. Our newsroom has reached out to the auditor's office. Tonight they have told us they received that letter and that request is now under review. Well, the city is pushing to move people from the homeless camp to the shelter on East Trent, as Kyle just reported, and Revive Counseling is preparing to start services at the shelter. The City Council approved a $1.6 million contract just last night. The organization will operate what is called wraparound services, serving behavioral health and social needs. They also plan to help people find jobs and transition to permanent housing.
Every single person at Revive in our office comes from some background of lived experience. So we know that sense of desperation of getting out of your situation. And we're able to have the opportunity to not only work for the people, but walk alongside them as they figure their lives out.
In Revive Counseling's proposal to the city, their goal is to get 50% of their clients into long-term transitional housing. That contract has not yet been signed, but they hope to be fully operational at the shelter by the first week of November. Well, tomorrow is the final open house to talk about possible locations for a new Spokane dog park. The City of Spokane's Park and Recreation Department says there is one dog park for every 115,000 people here in Spokane right now, and that is far less than the average in the Pacific Northwest, which is one per 26,000 people. And neighbors agree there should be more dog parks around. The meeting is for the East Central neighborhood, Underhill Park at 6 o'clock. It'll be held in the Liberty Park Library event room. A Moses Lake manufacturing company is facing more than $200,000 in fines for serious safety and health violations. Two Rivers Terminal LLC makes products for agricultural fertilizer, airports, and water treatment. Inspectors found employees working on top of rail cars and sulfur trucks without protection. The company also has locations in Pasco, Washington, and in Oregon. They are facing fines for 46 serious violations and 17 general violations. Although flu season just started, Spokane Regional Health is reporting Spokane County's first flu-related death and one of two hospitalizations so far. This is the first flu-related death in the state of Washington this year. The person was in their 60s with underlying health conditions. All right, let's talk weather now. Our perfect October weather could be coming to an end soon. In fact, Jeremy says it is coming to an end soon in just a few days, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, by the end of the week, we're out of it and we're not getting back to this until, at least May of next year.
Oh boy.
Yeah. We're not even going to do the math on how long that is, but here you go. Temperatures right now dropped quite a bit from where they were earlier today. A whopping 20 degrees since the sun went down at 6 p.m. That's just 4 hours. I would not be shocked if tonight we dipped into the 30s here in Spokane. But it comes with a drop in air quality. Air kind of settles to the ground at night. Once the sun goes down, we're under that ridge of high pressure. Things just kind of settle. We're at an unhealthy for sensitive groups, a 117 in AQI. It's kind of just around Spokane, but you head north, you're in that unhealthy air. That's Newport, much of North Idaho, and then over the Cascades. It's where we're seeing some of the worst air in the entire country. Unfortunately, it's all due to our overall weather pattern. That's that big ridge of high pressure overhead and sinking air in our atmosphere. So the next couple days, more of the same. Smoky and warm on Wednesday, still hazy and warm on Thursday, and then increasing clouds, cooler temps, and rain moves in on Friday as we finally get rid of some of this wildfire smoke.
Got to enjoy the next couple of days, Jeremy. Thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. A nearly 8-month-long construction project on Riverside Avenue is moving to its final phase. This week, construction will focus on the stretch between Stevens and Wall. City spokesperson Brian Coddington says construction is expected to go into November, but he says it'll be worth it for the changes that are coming.
It's exciting to see some of those pieces start to come together. This is a project that's going to really connect east-west in our community and do a nice job of adding additional options for people to be able to utilize mass transit and to be able to connect to where they're going.
In the meantime, people are encouraged to continue to be patient and pay attention to the road signs in downtown Spokane. During a court hearing this morning, a Spokane County Jail inmate escaped. 38-year-old Alex Hegland was being held on 2 misdemeanor charges, including reckless driving and driving while impaired. Now he faces a new felony escape charge. After he ran from the courthouse, Spokane County Sheriff's deputies and Spokane police officers searched the area for him. Their search led to a nearby backyard where he surrendered. He's since been taken back to the Spokane County Jail. Tonight, we are getting new details into a deadly motorcycle crash that killed one man in Spokane Valley last night. Spokane Valley deputies responded to a report of a motorcycle crash at Sprague Avenue and Barker Road, and after they arrived, they found the man had died at the scene. We know the driver was traveling, according to deputies, at a high rate of speed when he came into contact with a roundabout, causing him to crash. Deputies say the motorcycle in that crash appears to have been reported as stolen. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. The verdicts for the father and son in the 1996 murder of Kristen Smart are in. Paul Flores, Smart's former Cal Poly classmate, was found guilty of first-degree murder. His father, Ruben, was found not guilty of being an accessory. Smart was just 19 when she disappeared, walking back to her dorm with Flores. After the verdict, Smart's family addressed the public.
Without Kristen, there is no joy or happiness in this verdict. After 26 years with today's split verdicts, we learned that our quest for justice for Kristen will continue.
Her body was never found. Flores now faces 25 years to life in prison. In international news, the man suspected of killing 6 men and wounding a woman in Northern California made his first court appearance Tuesday. Prosecutors allege that 43-year-old Wesley Brownlee is a suspected serial killer who recently moved to the city. They say he shot and killed 6 people over the last year and a half before his arrest on Saturday. Right now, it is still unclear why he targeted his victims, but prosecutors say they are looking into whether those attacks were hate crimes. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But don't go to bed just yet. Property value is on the rise, meaning property taxes could increase as well. A look at just how much that increase could be coming up after the break. Plus, with the midterm elections on the horizon, President Joe Biden announced his intentions surrounding Roe versus Wade. We're back in just 90 seconds.